Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Food Plot Chronicles, episode number 2. Now last week, you saw Deano plowing and disking some new ground that we just acquired up at Camp Cup. Let me tell you something, that kid's working hard. I'm pretty much breaking a sweat just watching him. But now that the ground is prepared, it is time to sow the seed. And what are we planting? Planting. What are we planting? Well, I'm glad you asked. Today, we are gonna be planting our corn and our beans. We are in the process of creating the destination food that we set out for. The reason why that's so important up here in New York, number one, during the harsh winter months, we need a plethora of food and food that can get buried in a lot of snow that is still accessible to the deer. And the deer numbers are pretty good up here, so when we're talking about destination food, we need a lot of it. Number two, if we get enough yield here, it's actually gonna help the survivors of the deer season feed throughout the winter after the actual hunting season. This is important too because as a land manager, you're not just hunting for this season. Your hard work is always an investment for future years. But hey, I got the easy job. I'm just sitting here behind the computer. Let's get out in that field and watch Deano go to work.
It is June 8th, finally time to plant for us. We're a little bit late. We have planted, I think, June 7th, June 8th before for springtime stuff, but it's a little late, a little later than we wanted to. We just haven't had the rain, so can't do much about that. We do have good chances of rain in the next like 5 days, so everything's looking good as far as that goes. But today, we're gonna be doing a bunch of things. I got the pasture pleaser that we rented, the grain drill. So we're gonna be using that to plant our corn and our beans. It's not the most ideal thing for corn, but it will put it in the ground. We are gonna be using a soil amendment product that you put in your sprayer from Whitetail Institute. Very excited to use that because some of our plots really need that amendment. They need that change in pH that most people do with lime. The way our property sets up, a lot of our food plots are so hard to access with some sort of like lime buggy or anything. I know we could use pelletized, but prefer the, you know, the powdered ag lime, and we just can't access some of the plots with big equipment like that. So this soil amendment that you put in your sprayer is a great solution or alternative to that because you can put it right on the back of your four-wheeler or tractor, whatever you spray your food plots with. So we're gonna use that today for the first time. Super excited because that should be a huge game changer for us and elevating our pH in some of the soil where it's just not good. So that'll get us better efficiency with our fertilizer. It'll just make our plants grow that much better. So I'm gonna get after it too. The other thing we're doing is we're gonna try a pre-emergent herbicide on one of our one of our varieties of corn that we're gonna use. We're gonna test that out to see if we can maybe help ourselves in the future with a little bit more efficiency and not spraying so much middle of summer. So I got my work cut out for me. I'm gonna get this soil amendment together and then get the fertilizer starting to spread. We got this 26-gallon tank in the back of our side-by-side, and we are using this product from Whitetail Institute. It's called Impact. It's a soil amendment. It's gonna dramatically increase the forage rate. It just improves the soil. It's gonna add some potash and some nitrogen to the soil and some calcium carbonate in here, kind of as a replacement for your lime to increase the pH. It's going to allow your crop to absorb more nutrients in those low pH soils. So it's just it's a nice soil amendment for those hard to get to areas, or like I said, if you don't have time to go rent a big ag lime buggy and you don't have a tractor to spread it with, this is a great tool to use right on the back of your four-wheeler. All you do is you put a little bit of water in your tank, you fill this jug. It's a granular, you can hear it. You're gonna fill it 3/4 of the way full, shake it up, shake all that water, mix it up really good, and then you're gonna pour it right into your tank. These are like 1/4 acre treatments, so I'm going to do an acre. I'm gonna put 4 of these right in this tank and fill it up all the way, and then empty this whole tank on the acre, and this will help our soil where we can't get the lime. So pretty awesome product to help be a little bit more efficient, a little bit more cost efficient, and save some time if you don't have that big equipment. All right, we just got the broadcaster hooked up. I'm gonna start fertilizing the fields. I'm gonna go through, fertilize every single one. I got one more that I may put some impact soil amendment in. Gonna decide. I'm running against time here. I got about 2.5 hours till dark, so I'm gonna try to get everything fertilized before dark. That would be awesome, so that tomorrow I can literally focus on planting. So gotta load up the fertilizer. I'm gonna load this up with the soybean fertilizer, which is 624-24. We got an acre field to fertilize. I'm gonna put the corn fertilizer right in the front bucket that's right next to that field. We'll get those done. I'll come back here to load back up again, then we'll move to our other fields. We've never gotten corn to grow here in this location. And it is the driest it's ever been, so if there's a chance of it happening, it's this year. Because this ground is as smooth as it's ever been. All right, folks, last field, and it's a doozy. It's the big new one that we just created and plowed up in the last week and a half. It's just over 3 acres, and I just find that on OnX Maps. You use the area shapes tool, and you can plot out your plot. It tells you exactly how many acres it is, and then with that I can calculate how much fertilizer I need. Now with corn, it's gonna vary, but I'm gonna put between 200 to 300 pounds down per acre, because I'm gonna anticipate putting some nitrogen down in a month or so when the corn starts sprouting up. So I'm hoping that'll be enough. I did plow under, you know, green fertilizer, natural green fertilizer, so hopefully that gives it a boost as well. We'll see what happens. Oh my goodness, is it time to plant yet? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a one-man show this year, and it's just a lot of work. We're planting more, and a lot more. And I've also added the extra step of using that impact soil amendment from Whitetail Institute, because I think it'll be worth it. I think we'll get more out of our fertilizer. I just think everything will benefit from it, and it's a little extra work, but we always say this: when you're hunting over your food plots in October and November and they look like, yeah, man, I wish they were just a little bit better, you're gonna wish that you put an extra $100, even if it seems like a ton at the time, or an extra couple hours if you could make the time, into your food plot in the summer, spring and summer. So you always sit there and wish, oh, what could I have done differently to make things better? At least that's the way I think. A little bit of a perfectionist, but I always want to do more, and it's a lot of stress and a time crunch, you know, when you're doing it at this time, but I'm trying to squeeze it all in. So especially being one guy, it's a lot, but I'm just going through the drill right now. There's a little bit of leftover oats or rye or something in here. I gotta kind of clean them out. Trying to calibrate this thing for the corn a little bit. We used this 2 years ago, and we did every other. We duct taped off every other hole to plant corn out of this, and it worked pretty well. I think it was a little bit heavy, so I think I may try to do every 2 holes block off, and we should get like a 21-inch row of corn. I think that might benefit a little bit. It might even be easier to spray if I'm spraying any of it later on. I think that should work out nicely. I think. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. But I'm gonna put some kind of test seed in here, and I'm gonna go back into one of our food plots that we're not planting, and or maybe I'll just go into the garden or something, and I'm just gonna run the drill just to kind of test, see how much seed's coming out. There's a few adjustments on here that I can make. I'll show you them. Oh, there is a whole chart that gives seed, but it doesn't have any corn. There's no chart for corn. It's not made for corn, that's probably why, but there is a chart for soybeans, and soybean seeds are a little bit smaller than corn, but I'm gonna kind of gauge it off of that. And soybeans are this 1/2 inch setting for 100 pounds an acre, and the setting is, if you can see, there's a little measuring tool right here, and it's just the spacing that's right here. As you can see, we're a little just over 1/2 inch. I put it a little bit bigger at 100 pounds an acre for soybeans because that's a little bit heavy, and I'm thinking the corn should drop out of there nice. If I need to make an adjustment, I will. But let's spin this thing. Cleaned it out a little bit by just spinning this wheel. Get a little bit of the seed to fall down a little bit. Let's get back up here. Yeah, we're coming. Nothing a little duct tape can't fix. I need them a little bit longer than that. I'm just covering up 2 holes instead of 1, like we did a couple of years ago. This drill is plants 8-inch rows. So if I block off 2 in the middle, we will have 24-inch rows of corn, which I think is perfect for a food plot. You can go smaller than that. Like I said, it was fine when we did it. The deer ate it. We just didn't get super big ears because it was a little crowded out, I think. So I think this will be really nice. And you know, the side-by-side's got a, you know, somewhere between like a 46 and 48-inch wheelbase. So if my rows are 46, 48 inches apart, it'll be 48 inches apart every 2 rows. So you can go right, you know, just to the right of them, and you'll be in between all the rows to spray. So it's gonna make spraying a hell of a lot easier too. I just measured all that up. You can see my duct tape job, and just like that, we have a 4.0 corn planter. Hot damn. And again, this is a no-till drill, so you can go in and not till anything and drill some stuff in. It's been super dry, so a lot of our stuff was like concrete, so I wanted to break it up a little bit. We're just kind of running this as a normal grain drill, which we've done before, and it's planted really, really nice with it. But there are a couple spots we're going to plant sorghum for access cover, and we have not tilled it up. So it'll be cool to, for the first time, I'll be actually no-tilling with a no-till drill. So we'll show you that here in a little bit. But right now, we got a 4.0 corn planter, pasture pleaser. Please me. Let's put some corn in and start calibrating. All right, well, if everything works, we'll get the real corn in. We're gonna, in this field, just behind the house, we're gonna do a test corn. I bought some of this Nutri-Crave corn from Real World Wildlife Seeds. It's a buddy of mine planted it, said did some tests on it, which were really cool over there at Managing Deer TV. There was a lot more, there was like 9 or 10% protein in this corn, a lot more fat. It's just not Roundup ready, so I actually sprayed a pre-emergent herbicide on this field to prepare for that, but should be interesting to see what it does. It's a long day corn, which it's getting late, so I'm a little skeptical about that, but we're not harvesting it, so see what happens. It's always good to learn, you know? It's always good to learn. But we got an acre field behind our camp right here. We never hunt it or anything like that. We just like to test stuff out on it, so it's a perfect spot to do that. Kind of get a feel for how this corn grows, and if it's something we like, we'll put it in other fields in the future. So from what I'm seeing, seed there, seed there, seed there, seed there. They're about 10 inches apart. I need to make it a little bit heavier. And then the next thing we'll have to check on is the depth. The depth of the seed. But right now, yeah, I gotta make it a hair heavier. A little bit light. All right, ladies and gents. It's taken a while, but we finally have began the planting process. So right now, I am planting corn along this redneck gilly blind right here. And there's a ditch that runs through the field right here and kind of breaks it up into two. We're gonna run corn all the way up to that other redneck, all the way down there. The road runs parallel with right behind me right now, so this is gonna do two things. Hopefully it comes up decent. It's gonna provide blocking and screening from not only the road, but us to be able to access into both of these blinds, and just to be able to access the front part of the road up here with deer being able to stay undisturbed back in this field. So we're gonna run the drill up here. It's actually a good amount of area. The soil is the best it's ever been, so hopefully it works. We got a little sprinkle happening right now, which I don't actually mind because it's putting some moisture into the ground. So it's not raining too hard, it's just perfect. So hopefully it stays this way. Let's get some seed in the ground. Let's check our seed real quick. All right. This field's gonna be a little bit lighter. I think. Y'all, this big field is all planted. I went a little bit lighter using this drill. I went through almost exactly a 3-acre bag of corn, and this field is about exactly 3 acres. So seed rate wise, probably with a corn planter, it's like perfect seed rate. Usually I'd like to go a little heavier with these drills because you get a little bit more inconsistent seed spacing and depth and stuff like that, but we should be good. I'm gonna do the next field, which is about 1.5 acres of corn. I'm gonna do it a little bit heavier. All right, we're on destination field number 2. Whew, a lot of work by yourself. This is a split of corn and beans. We're doing about 1.5 acres of corn. And then in about 2 acres of beans. The corn really helps kind of add a little bit of cover to this hedgerow, this little tiny sliver creek that has a lot of apple trees in it. The deer love to cruise it, and so we just add that, and it gives us a nice screening to come in and out of this blind. we can literally get in and out of this field. There's beans out here, corn right there. There could be deer 30 yards away and they don't know that you're getting up there. And it's just super awesome to have unpressured access like that. So I'm gonna drill in this corn. I'm gonna go a little heavier than we did in this last field. Want to make sure this one is right. I did spray some pre-emergent herbicide on there, so this is another reason why I want to make sure this is nice and thick. Make sure it comes up on try number 1. We don't have time to replant. All right, I got to put the soybeans in. I got to run through and pull these things back to shallow up the depth of planting a little bit. I want these beans to go in pretty shallow. Most people would say put them in deep. I want to put them in shallow because I feel like they get out of the ground a lot quicker. They do. You just run the risk of your moisture not being there. But we're supposed to get rain the next couple days, so I'm gonna bank on it. But yeah, we're gonna go a little bit shallower. Dean's beans going in. Nice thing about the beans with this grain drill is it just runs it like, you run it like it is. You don't have to worry about keeping straight lines really, or where your rows are at with those duct taped holes. And I like planting the beans heavy anyway, so I don't care if I overlap or anything. Right, this is a very productive field for us. We've got a lot of good hunts here. I shot Bernie on this field this year. David shot Nipsey, the Godfather. I mean, we've put a lot of work in up here, but it's been a very, very good field, so I always want this to be good. But I'm going to do the same setup because it's worked. Corn and beans. Just drilling in the corn now, and then we'll finish up with the soybeans, and then we got one more destination food plot to do. Maybe a little bit of sorghum from white gold, and then spring planting will be wrapped up. Hopefully everything does what it's supposed to. Day's coming to a close. I'm just checking things out. Looks like we got a perfect seed rate going with this drill. That's good news. Yeah, it looks really good. Really good. Nice little sunset peeking through the trees. That's gonna be it for me today. I wanted to finish, but had a lot of bumps and bruises along the whole day, and Dad got here to help me a little bit, which was a huge help, but been doing most of this by myself. This is a lot of... Let's go home and get a sandwich. That's something. Look at that. Holy cannoli. There's not even a culvert in here. It's just a little creek that runs through here. And there's no way to get into this field back here, which is why we can't lime it or anything. So he built up all these rocks crossing this creek. We can kind of limp right across it. Safe enough to not break anything and not fall into the creek. Good. All good. What a view. What a day. What a view.
Damn, the seed is in the ground. That boy knows how to work hard, let me tell you that much. On a serious note, I hope y'all took in the information that we had in this episode. Dean is a wizard and a genius when it comes to food plot. There are so many different little tips and tricks that you can take out of this and apply on your own land. From using pre-emergence, to planting corn and beans out of the same machine, to timing up this planting with the weather, to what fertilizers to use on the different types of plants that we are planting. There is so much to learn, and Dean has done so much research. I give him a ton of credit, And quite honestly, he's the reason that we consistently kill big bucks on our own land. I'm so glad we drafted that kid back in '89. He was a steal to get in the second round. We didn't know what he was gonna turn out to be, but we're getting our money's worth. The corn and the beans are in the ground. Now it is time to do a rain dance. Probably the biggest part of our food plot journey is complete, but there's still a lot more to do throughout the summer. Next week, we're gonna be talking about planting Green Monster, a sorghum blend that is used for access from white gold. And hopefully at that point, we got a nice soaker and these plants are germinated. Let the germination process begin, folks. We'll see you right back here next week on Food Plot Chronicles. Peace.